There's just a lot of nutritionally void foods out there.
Yeah.
And I always say the number one thing you can do to better your health is to cook more of your own food. It doesn't
Yep.
have to be fancy or
Yep.
complex or time consuming, but
Yep.
just having that autonomy over, what you're putting in your food. I work with a lot of women who have hypertension, and
Yeah.
their, recommendation is to stop adding salt to your food at the table. Take your salt, your salt shaker off the table. No, it's not that. It's the food that we're getting outside of the home, right? Like if
Yeah.
we sit down to eat at a restaurant, that meal has the entire sodium intake you should be eating in a day in
Yeah.
that one dish. So we unknowingly are consuming a lot more sugar, like I mentioned in the, beverage world, a lot more sodium, a lot more
Yeah.
added oils and, fats and sugars that we don't even realize. So cooking more for yourself is one of the
Yeah.
best ways that you can actually redesign the way that you're eating and all the nutrients that you're taking in. So yeah, it's a lot of the ultra processed packaged foods. It's the things that we're eating at restaurants. It's the things that we're getting for
Mhm.
takeout that have literally no fiber, very
Yeah.
little fiber. Maybe there's
Yep.
protein, but there's a ton of carbohydrates and not enough protein, healthy fats, and fiber to balance that carb intake. So I think a lot of us
Yes.
think about, PCOS, and they just demonize carbs. We still need carbs. Like carbs are
Yeah.
vital to function. Of course, we have research that actual ketosis
Yep.
can be helpful, but how sustainable is that for the everyday
Right.
woman? Very
Yeah.
difficult to carry out if you've never done it. Try it out. It's
Yeah.
difficult. Or don't try it actually, because I've done it for you. I've tried
Yeah.
every single diet that there is out there because I love experimenting. But yes, so it's not about eliminating carbs. It's really about how we're eating those carbs. What are we pairing those carbohydrates with? So,
Yeah.
that's why we think about, okay, no more white rice, no more white flour foods. But there are plenty of cultures eating white rice. They're not
Yeah.
eating it alone. They're eating
Yeah.
plenty of vegetables. They're eating probiotics. They're eating protein
Mhm.
along with that rice. So it's really about how you're putting your foods together that
Yeah.
really makes a difference when it comes to your blood sugar levels.
I think the reality is just like you have to look at food, not to be dramatic, but like as literally a life source, right?
Yes.
And if you
Yeah.
started to
So
look at it
true.
that way, as like
Mm-hmm.
a life source for you and your family, as something that
Right.
is the most important thing, and you prioritize it more than other things. For someone with PCOS, is there certain foods, micronutrients, is there anything that you do think are really beneficial for PCOS symptoms specifically?
Yeah. So, fiber is a huge one. So we can table that. Protein is a huge one too, specifically having protein in the morning. And
Hmm.
I love the protein and fiber combo first
Yep.
thing in the morning because that really sets your blood sugar off on the right foot. If we
Yeah.
wake up, have coffee, wait until 2 or 3 o'clock when we
Yeah.
remember to eat something, our blood sugar
Yeah.
is like, it's just not happy with us. So
Yeah.
that's a big one. And I always say it's great to experiment with yourself and try to add up how many grams of protein and
Yeah.
fiber that you're getting, and do that for a couple of weeks. You can use a free app
Yep.
and just see what you're getting. Because so many of us are underdoing it and we don't even realize it. And once we start to
Yeah.
get closer to the averages that we should be at, wow, we feel incredibly better. And,
Yeah.
had we not known that. So that's a huge one. Anti-inflammatory nutrition is a whole podcast episode in and of itself, but we really can impact our levels of inflammation by
Mhm.
changing up how we're eating. So, things like superstars that I can think of off the top of my head, um, olive oil,
Yep.
avocado, tomatoes, berries, nuts, seeds, beans,
Yep.
um, omega-3 fatty acids in fatty fish. Those
Yep.
are number one. And I think you kind of hinted at this, but Americans really don't eat enough seafood.
Not at
And
all.
especially
Yeah.
like all my Midwest friends, they're like,
Yeah.
ew, which I mean, kind
Yeah.
of makes sense if they're not close to the ocean. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's so many nutrients. And that is like it's just the best source of anti-inflammatory omega-3s.
Yep.
So that's a huge one. So yeah, fish, seafood, sardines,
Yep.
shrimp, all of these foods are huge for that. But yeah, a lot of the plant-based foods that have that fiber are
Yeah.
we undereat them for sure.